Hey guys, got another video for you. The response to the last video in Barcelona was so good, so I thought I'd make another one. Not really, it's the same day. I'm sure you liked it anyway. And in this video, I want to talk about something. It's actually a subject that I thought about for many years before I came up with the solution. And it was, what relationship do you want to have in the end? Or how do you want to live your life? Do you want to be a playboy sleeping with loads of girls? Do you want to be monogamous and old school with 2 kids and happy families? Or do you want to find some kind of new age, strange modern way of living where you're in a communal relationship, or you have 3 different women, or a bunch of guys and women all living together, whatever, right? So it was a big question for me. And not long ago there was a book released by Neil Strauss, who probably most of you know, who wrote The Game, which was most guys' introduction to the pickup community. And in it, it was kind of disappointing but also thought-provoking. So thought-provoking in that it's about this subject, and as a man, what do you really want from life when it comes to relationships? But disappointing in the sense that this was a guy that so many people looked to as a guru who had the answers, but yet at 45 years old he still wasn't sure what he wanted, still had to try all this weird shit, and in the end had a kind of predictable Hollywood ending where he decides that monogamy is the way. So while I was reading it, I had my own ideas, so this is very much my perspective. And I want to give you that, but of course, feel free to comment. I'm sure that lots of you will disagree. This is not like my usual videos, it's much more my opinion. So the first thing is, lots of guys, me included, years ago, would imagine that the lifestyle, rock star lifestyle or whatever, where you're sleeping with lots of different girls is great, and that's like the best way to live. But I actually met a lot of guys who were semi-famous or very, very rich, or had whatever it was that gave them unlimited access to women. And it meant that they'd slept with, thousands of women. And these guys all shared one common trait. It was that they didn't really like women, didn't respect them. They generally just hung out with guys and then had sex with women. And also there was diminishing returns. So the idea that a beautiful woman would walk in and they'd be like, oh, and get excited by that, didn't exist for them anymore. Sex wasn't that interesting for them anymore. It was just something they needed from time to time. So from seeing that, I realized that, that's not a long-term thing. Also think about it, do you want to be this weird, creepy, old guy who's still chasing hot young girls? Do you want to have to keep answering the question of why you're not in a relationship, why you haven't got kids, why you were never married when you were in your 50s? Do you want to be 55 years old, suddenly decide you want a kid, and then by the time he's grown up you can't play sports with him because you're too old and decrepit? Probably not, right? So there is a period in your life where that's great, and I really enjoyed my kind of single years when I was dating lots of girls, having lots of fun, but it did have a time, after a time it was diminishing returns. I didn't enjoy it so much. And then it always came to the point where you think, okay, so what do I want to do? Maybe, I'm watching these MTV videos and listening to these rappers, and they all have all these chicks and, different kinds of relationships, maybe this kind of stuff. But the more you know about women and the more you understand about relationships, you realize first that women don't actually want that. So the kind of woman that would put up with a shitty relationship is, they exist. It's possible for a man to control a woman, to get her to do things that she wouldn't naturally want to do, but she's not going to like it. So if you're in a house and you've got 3 different women there, and you sleep with one sometimes, some of the other times, it sounds in principle like it might work. In reality, it's pretty much impossible to get work, because we know that it's hard enough to keep on good terms with our family and those people that are close to us, even when you're bonded by blood. When you take a bunch of strangers and put them together, it's very, very hard to make it work. So I do personally discount all of those new age type of relationships that involve more than 2 people, which leaves you know, what I see as the only real option, which is a relationship with one person. And I know that for a lot of guys, a lot of guys love that, and, you know, that's what they're looking for. And then there are other guys that say, how can you just have sex with one person the rest of your life? How can you be tied down by one woman? That's, you know, the pussy beta male way of living. It's not. You know, if you find the very best possible girl that you can and you settle down with her, you've done very well. You know, there is the biological question that men are supposed to have, you know, sex with lots of women, and women are supposed to find one man and kind of keep him, and we've got this biological imperative. And although I think it's normal for a man to feel urges to notice other women and things like that, it really comes down to a moral question. You know, do you want to have your wife, but sometimes you're a bad guy, sometimes you do something, you know, that's a moral question. That's for each man to decide. But when it comes down, you know, there is no perfect answer and there's no perfect life, and it's about finding the best one. And, you know, one of my heroes was Milton Erickson, and he always took people that were really fucked up and confused and had mental problems, and he would get them a job, get them stability, get them a family, and just have them focus on the simple things in life and to be happy from that. So if your life is complicated, if you're watching porn videos with, you know, guys having sex with 5 women at once and weird stuff, and that's what you need to get off, you know, you need to simplify things. If you're listening to, you know, role models, and in your Instagram, you know, you're following just girls showing their asses all the time and stuff, it's time to simplify things and to try and get yourself to the point where you can be happy with the everyday things, you know, and from making someone else happy, from building something for the long term. So that's kind of my realization when I'm 36. Neil Strauss is 47. He's, you know, he had some different views, but I think it's the way, you know, it's the way to go. And a lot of guys have asked me about that over the years, and now you've got my answers. So I hope you find it interesting. Think about it. I'm sure loads of you think about it already, and you can write your comments and I'll read them and reply to them. Cheers guys, see ya.